Hi Shaurya, how are you?
Hello, sir. I'm fine. What about you?
I'm good too, thank you. So can you tell me something about yourself?
Sure. My name is Shaurya. I have 4.8 year work experience in software testing, and in which like 3 plus in automation. For automation, I'm using Selenium, Java, and TestNG. I'm working as a hybrid framework, and also have exposure of API testing and MySQL database query and all. That's about myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what kind of automation framework you are working on?
I'm working on like hybrid framework.
Hmm. So can you explain in detail about the automation framework?
Sure, sir. Like in hybrid framework, it is a combination of data driven and keyword driven. So
Mm-hmm.
for data driven, I'm using like for Apache POI to derive the data from Excel, and for like I'm using page object model.
Mm-hmm.
So in like what I do, like I will maintain all my pages, like all web pages in page object model. On
Mm-hmm.
there, I will mention like all the actions method I have using that there, and also like page factory, like using page factory. I will be localize the element and all, and I will maintain the test repository. In the test repository, I have mentioned all my test script and all. So for like for base test is used for like invoke browser, like whichever the code that is code reusability. For that, I'm using base test, and that is the inherit to the like all other the test. And one folder is like a report. So for report, I'm using extend report. For extend report, I'm using like a extend spark class and extend class. To
Mm-hmm.
extend spark class is used for to create the metadata, and to extend class is used for to create the report. And also like I'm using test ng. So what is the test ng, like before method, after method, before shoot, after shoot, and likewise like parallel testing. So like I am using, so like using that, like also like I test listener, using
Mm-hmm.
I test listener like on test start, on test failure, on test skip. So likewise I have maintained also like screenshot, like to once the test is failure. So I'm maintaining the base classes. So that's all. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay. You were telling about the report mechanism. So how it is integrated? Can you explain in detail?
sure, sure. Like what I do, like I will be using extent jar that I'm using in form.xml,
Mm-hmm.
and using that I'm only I create one file. On there I maintain all like extend class and all, and maintain all the metadata, what the metadatas are there. So what like fields are there, all everything is mentioned there. And likewise I'm using that class in like I test listener. On there we will be creating we will create the object of the extend class, and using that I will be on test start, on test failure. Likewise we will create the report, and extend dot plus we will use that will be like create the report with the phrase. So
Mm-hmm. Do you have the framework such that it can get integrated with an Excel file?
no, like sir, what I do for X, like I'm using Apache POI to derive the data. So
Mm-hmm.
like what I do, like whatever the test data we have for that we have uses like Apache POI, like SSF workbook and all, and using that we will integrate our test data in the in our frame.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're telling about this extend reports. So can we integrate these extend reports with CI/CD pipelines?
Uh, so I didn't do it
Mm-hmm.
for using CI/CD. Yes.
Okay. So let's say if you have to integrate with CI/CD pipeline, so what you will do is you'll configure one of the CI/CD tool, maybe TeamCity or maybe Jenkins, whichever you use to execute your Selenium test. And what you can do is you can generate extend reports as a part of the build process in that. So what you need to do is you need to publish the extend report as a form of artifacts to your CI/CD server. So in the CI/CD pipeline itself, you can include links to extend reports, right? Or you can also include dashboards. So that can also give some real-time visibility to the test results.
Sir, can you elaborate all these? That is better for me.
Sure, sure. I'll tell you how this about CI/CD. Okay. See, you know about extend reports, and are you aware about CI/CD pipelines?
Yes, I aware about the Jenkins. What I
Uh,
know, like I am creating the jobs and all based
mm,
on the parameter. Like for using like Maven, I am using Maven Sapphire, and
mm,
using that I am running up my build.
mm, mm, mm. Okay, so let me explain you step by step. Okay, is my screen visible to you? I
Yes,
have
sir.
started screen sharing.
Mhm.
Hmm? So, see, generating extend reports. So first of all, you will be adding this extend reports with your framework. So maybe you are initializing extend reports, you are creating extend test instances for each test case, you are adding logs, you're adding
Yes.
screenshots and other details to the reports
Mm.
with your test methods. Now, with CI/CD, so there can be multiple example tools that might you might be using. One is Jenkins, or in some projects you might be using TeamCity. So what we do is we trigger this automated test using CI/CD pipelines, right? Now in all these tools, in CI/CD tools, you will have a particular stage wherein you have to trigger the test execution. So once the test execution is triggered, then you can publish the extend reports as well. So what can do is you can, after test execution is completed, you can publish the extend reports that are generated, right? Those extend reports that are generated, right? And you can also convert it into a form of a dashboard, right? So these extend reports, they have dashboards, and in the second tab, you would be able to see the pass fail results, right? So you can display those links, you can display the summaries of the extend reports as well, right? And
Okay,
you
sir.
can integrate it with your CI/CD pipeline directly.
Mm.
So whenever your CI/CD, yeah. So whenever your CI/CD pipeline is completing, then you will automatically get the report in the form of extend reports, right? So you can also put it in the form of notifications to the stakeholders. So in a CI/CD pipeline, you can also integrate it via stage, one of the stage, whichever you take, or you can also um, write Groovy scripting in that to integrate it with
Yes, sir.
the
Like
Jenkins. Hmm,
uh, what I do for the like failed test case. For
hmm,
that, I'm using like Ruby scripting on there. Like
hmm,
we have passed some condition. So if
hmm,
it test is failed, so we will
hmm,
put some condition based on that.
hmm.
So likewise, yeah.
So yeah,
From
so okay, so let's continue with this. So this answer is clear to you.
yes,
Okay, now
yes,
you
sir.
are telling that you have added some failed condition. So where did you add that? In your framework or in the pipeline?
Like sir, in the you are asking about for which field, sir?
So let's say if few of the test cases are getting failed
Mm-hmm.
in automation framework, and few of the test cases are getting failed. So
Mm-hmm.
how will you handle them? Have you added some particular code to handle those failed test cases in your automation framework, or is that a part of
Yes,
CI/CD pipeline?
yes, sir. I'm basically what I do. Like once the test cases fail, so I'm using like iTest listener. So on
Hmm,
there, like on test failure, like I am attaching the screenshot code. So
hmm,
what the get the screenshot and all also. And for the flakiness of the test, I'm using I retry analyzer. So like they have a certain numbers of times they have to run and all. So whatever the requirement time we have, like 2 or 3 times, so we have to run like that. And what I'm telling about that, the to run up, suppose we are running any build and some test cases are failed, so only run that test cases. For that I am using like in the we have passed some condition in the like Ruby scripting, like based on the condition that like we have to rerun the our like
hmm,
failed test cases.
hmm, hmm, hmm. Right. So which are the different, what are your different roles and responsibilities? How do you start your day?
Yeah, like as I am working in agile environment, so like my days start with my stand-up call. So based on the stand-up call, we have discussed about the what we have done today, what we have done yesterday. After that, like we have some user story worked on. So based on the user story, we have to process our like and analyze our whatever the test cases I have, that write the test cases and all, and then after like review and all, then execute that test cases, and after the build will come, then I execute that test cases and define the defect, and if it fix after fixing, it will be for the test closure regression testing is done, then like test closure activity. This is a part for manual,
Hmm.
and for automation is like whatever the test cases, that is a I mean like repeating in the all build, like I have to make sure about there is no, I mean like there is no broken in every sprint and all. So for that test cases I have to do for the automation.
Hmm.
uh, yeah, so these are like automation also. So this type of like those
Hmm.
responsibilities.
Hmm. Okay. Fine. Hmm. Fine. So let's say if there is a test case that is given to you for automation, so how would you come up with a test estimation? How much time would you need to automate that particular test case?
So firstly it will be based on the what the critical functionalities are there, based on that. And also like there is using, we are using RTM. So
Hmm.
using RTM, like we have a measure about that the what the test cases need to be, which test case need to be automation
Hmm.
and all. So like we have following like whatever the requirement document, so that requirement ID, and one is test case ID. So is there mapping with the requirement ID, is mapping with the test case or not? And
Hmm.
if one column I made for the automation, so is it feasible for automation? So likewise we will ensure.
Hmm. 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 So let's say if you have to open multiple browsers using TestNG, so how will you do that?
Multiple browser you are
Hmm.
saying.
Hmm. Hmm.
So for that I'm using Selenium grid.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
using Selenium grid, we have to integrate in the hub, and some root are there, and the ports are there, we have to run on different port. Likewise we are using like Selenium grid, we have to install the Selenium jars file, and using that we have to set up the server, and based on that we will create the like hub, and
Hmm.
likewise.
Okay. So what are the different scenarios or how do you use Selenium Grid in your automation framework?
Sir, for Selenium grid, I'm what I do, like firstly I will install the Selenium jars.
Hmm.
So once the Selenium jars install, like we have to use command prompt and all, and
Hmm.
we will create the server based on that. And on there, like we have some commands. So based on that, we have to firstly we will create the hub, and
Hmm.
based on hub, like whatever the code we have to run on there. So we have to run on that machine. Is it like virtual? Yeah, it's another machine likewise.
Okay. So let's say if there is a dynamic allocation of the nodes that you need to do in Selenium Grid. So how would you handle it?
Dynamic allocation
Hmm.
means like it will change rapidly, right?
Right, right. It can change.
So,
So when I say
uh,
dynamically, that means you have to dynamically spin up nodes. So how would you do that?
so can you help in this
No
for
worries, no
example
worries.
this step?
So are you aware about Docker containers?
No, no, no.
Okay. So see, Docker containers is one of the option. Then cloud providers is there. So you can integrate your Selenium grid with cloud providers such as AWS, Azure to provide for the provision of the virtual machines which are required on demand. You can also write some custom scripts to automatically provision that. Or you can also use Docker containers. So Docker containers will help you to dynamically spin up nodes as per your test requirements. So let's say if you need some particular node with some desired browser configurations, you can use it, right? If you need some particular node for some particular other user story testing, you can use Docker. So what is Docker? Docker is nothing but it's a platform which is used for developing, or it is used for kind of what I would say, running applications. It's a kind of container, right? So as a container, you would get a
It's a
lightweight,
part of DevOps, right? Because
right?
I heard about type of like
Mm,
dev
yes,
container Docker.
yes, yes. So it's a kind of a container. And similarly, have you heard about Kubernetes?
Yeah, I heard about it, but I
Yeah.
don't
So
use it.
yeah. So these are all DevOps concepts. You should be familiar with it. Again, it's not necessary that you have worked on those kind of things as you have 4.5 years of experience. You should be familiar with those things, right? What is Docker image? Are you aware about Docker image?
No, sir, I don't have
Hmm.
it.
So Docker image is nothing but it's a kind of a image that would contain the entire package. It contains the piece of software. It can also contain the code, the libraries, the dependencies, the configuration files that are required for next time. So let's say if you have to need some particular environment or some particular kind of an instance, you can just load that image in the Docker and you would get the same environment. You don't need to reinvent the wheels. You don't need to restart from the scratch, right? So that is there. Okay. Are you aware about the best practices for using Selenium Grid?
Whatever no, I so that I told delivery about
Mm,
Selenium Grid. So I'm not much used frequently like Selenium Grid
mhm.
based on the requirement I used.
Okay, okay, fine, no worries. Okay. Are you doing API automation
No, sir, API testing like manual using Postman.
using Postman? Okay. So let's say if you have to handle a pop-up in Selenium automation, so how will you handle it?
Sir, can you come again,
Yeah,
please?
if you have to handle some pop-up, so let's say if you are automating a web page which has a
Mm-hmm.
pop-up, so how will you handle pop-up in the Selenium automation?
Sir, basically, like if it is window-based pop-up,
Hmm.
then we will use any third-party plugin and all.
Hmm.
And if it like their alert and all, so we can handle
Hmm.
using JavaScript executor, and using that we can handle
Hmm.
like alert.
Right, right. So you can write driver dot switch to dot alert,
Yes,
or you can
switch to
also,
alert, alert,
yeah,
and then like alert dot accept,
right.
and
You
one is
can,
for alert dot accept.
correct. You can get the text of that alert as well.
Yes, yes,
That is also possible.
yes.
Okay. What about the kind of a dialog box which is browser native? So let's say if you have to use third-party tools, which is Windows-based pop-ups
Mhm,
or dialog boxes,
mhm.
then what would you do?
Can you come again, sir, please?
So let's say you were telling no, the with respect to pop-ups, if it's a Windows-based pop-up. So currently you told the solution of the web-based pop-up using that
Mhm,
alert.
mhm.
What if it's a Windows-based pop-up? Then what would you
So
do?
we
Hmm.
can use third-party plugin.
Yeah. So which are,
I'm
yeah,
not sure about that. Like PowerShell,
you can use
we can
Auto
use
IT, you can use
auto
Robot class, you can use PowerShell as well,
PowerShell.
right? In Java to handle them by simulating keyboard and mouse
Mhm.
actions,
Yes.
right? So let me show you one example. Your home is nearby road or something, somewhere.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So
Nearby road.
how do you work? You're working
Like
from home?
no, it's like hybrid, sir.
Hmm.
Sometime work from
Do
home,
you
sometime.
enjoy working from home?
Yes, sir.
You enjoy? Okay, great. So this is an example where robot class has been used to handle file upload dialog.
Mhm.
Okay, now I want you to open flipkart.com. So can you share your screen, open flipkart.com in a Google Chrome browser,
Yes, sir.
and there is a bootstrap control that you need to automate.
Flipkart.com, right?
Flipkart, yes.
Yes.
Hmm, okay, bootstrap drop down. Yeah, can you scroll down a bit? Hmm, no, not here. Can you scroll down further? No, no. Yeah, you can scroll up. So let's go to the flights option, travel option, travel.
Okay. Yes.
Uh, Go to the travel option. Ah, now you have to automate this particular from field.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So how will you automate it? Can you find the locator for this first? And
Sure,
then you
sir.
need to tell the approach. Yeah, it's a bootstrap drop down.
So this one is coming to.
That was huge. So heavy
Yes.
vehicles are also coming up, right? Heavy
Yes.
vehicles are also coming.
Yes, sir.
So where are you from?
Sir, I'm from Delhi.
Delhi. Okay, okay, great. So are you able to find ID for this control?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to find ID for this control?
Yes, input.
You're not getting ID, right? Then what will you do?
What I'm thinking about, sir, I'm using like parent-child traversing, using
Okay,
that.
okay.
So what I do,
Mm-hmm,
so this is a like using that div that is in using that div. Let
mm.
me. Yeah.
You are going for class. Do you think going for a class is a reliable option?
Here class option is there. I'm trying. So can you help me in this?
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure, sure. Okay, let me help you in this. Okay, meanwhile, are you able to find the locator for this last travelers class?
Which
One traveler,
this
the travelers class, besides return on this text box, besides search
there,
button,
sir.
before search button. Mm,
Okay, this one.
mm. Can you try to find which part of that?
Yes, I'm trying.
See, I have shared relative XPath for that first drop down in the chat box. So one best practice is don't go for class. That is not that
Okay.
much reliable. So get that XPath from the chat box and try to search here. Yeah, yeah. ID attribute is not available, so we'll have to go for XPath. No, no, not this one. I shared one relative XPath with you.
I think input at the rate.
Input at the rate name equal to 0 dash path city. That is the relative XPath that you need to take. Getting
Sir,
it?
can
One
you
of one.
explain like
Yeah, sure, sure. I'll explain it to you. Wait, let me open that.
it is related to bootstrap, right? Like all the
Yes,
classes
yes.
we're using.
It's a bootstrap drop down.
Mhm.
Let me share my screen. Is your screen sharing will be stopped. Is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
So this is how you will open inspect element and see here if you so first you need to expand. See, these are all the options that are coming from where the plight you can take from options,
Mhm.
right? These are all the options, but you need to see what type of input. So it's an input type that you can take in an XPath, right? You will also get other
Mhm.
details. What is the name? It's 0 dash depart city, right? So that's what I have taken in my relative XPath and come up with a relative XPath because I don't have ID. I cannot go for class. This is not at all a reliable class. This,
But sir,
hmm,
sometimes, sir, like that is a attribute we are using.
hmm,
That attribute is using for all the form classes, like all the inputs and all.
hmm.
So on that time, like we will go for parent-child traversing, right?
Yes, yes. Then you have to go for parental. But in this case, you got one of one in this option. Now, let's say
Yeah.
if you're talking about a situation. So currently, I don't have that website in which you have got only one input type that you are taking for
Mhm.
talking for multiple things, right? In that case, then again, some other option would be there. Don't go for class. Don't go for this absolute XPath. Go for relative XPath. Create your custom XPath in such cases. You're getting it,
Yes.
right? And accordingly, you have to go. Okay. You can also check for sibling. You can also check for ancestor. Okay. Now this is done. Okay. So now can you try for another text box that is one traveler or economy that is displayed there?
One traveler account.
Hmm.
Okay, sir, I'm trying.
Mhm. See, you can also go for tag name,
Okay, sir.
right?
Yes, sir, I got it. Sorry, actually my screen is not share.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Tell me, what did you get?
Uh,
Hmm.
I'm using name attribute. I'm using that.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, okay. This one you are getting.
Yes.
Okay, great, great. Fine, fine. Okay, so you can stop sharing your screen. This is fine. Now, let's move to the next question. How many test cases do you automate every day?
Sir, it depends upon like criticality of the user story, what the user story is.
Mhm. So it
That's
depends
it.
on the complexity of the test scenario that you are
Yes.
automating.
Yes.
User story, whether it is critical or not, that will decide on your priority, right? Which test case you have
Yeah,
to
like
execute
how
first.
many test cases are there
Yeah.
based on that? Yeah, based on
So you
that.
have to consider the complexity of the user story when you give the answer. And it should be in the terms of range that you can tell, maybe 5 days, maybe 5 to 10 days, 10 to 15 days at times, right? So it depends.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, sure, yeah. I am done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
I guess that like how
Hmm.
much I mean like what my preparation is there and
Hmm.
how I need to take effort and all to practice.
So yeah, so see, you have got real time experience that I what that's what I was feeling, right?
Mm,
And second thing is you have to practice these kind of locators finding things. Those would be you would be getting in an interview.
mhm.
Then you have to practice about pipelines, DevOps concepts. I'm not telling you to create it or to
Okay,
work
so
on
can
them.
you refer me like where to I
Hmm.
practice about like
Right. So
pipeline
first
and
of
all?
all, yeah, so first of all, you have to get the theoretical knowledge. You'll get it from Google resources. A lot of resources are there. And then
Mhm,
this Jenkins is an open source tool. You can also set it up on your machine and you can create a pipeline from scratch. You can integrate it with your automation framework. You can see how many stages are there, right? That
okay.
is that you practice you can do in your machine itself. You don't need any
Mhm,
other resources. And then
mhm.
these concepts like Dockers, Kubernetes, then Selenium grid, how will you do parallel execution? Those things are very important, right? Okay.
And sir, I explain about